This is insane news. Law enforcement tackled one of the Trump rioters in court yesterday as they were going to take him into custody for pretrial detention. I guess he freaked out and just tried to escape. This was first report. By the way, they're for law and order. Remember, respect police, all of that stuff. First reported by CBS News. Federal agents tackle January 6th defendant Vitali GossJankowski during a physical altercation at a court hearing. Imagine the scene here, okay? A physical altercation broke out during a hearing Monday in the case of Vitali GossJankowski. He's a defendant already convicted on several charges related to the Trump riots, resulting in toppled tables and multiple federal agents subduing the defendant on the ground. What happened? Well, Judge Paul Friedman ordered GossJankowski jailed for a series of recent doxing threats that were targeting federal agents. Moments later, GossJankowski stood and started fighting with the agents who were trying to handcuff him and take him into custody. He appears to be 6'3", exceptionally muscular as described, pushed, tugged, and toppled officers before careening into a podium and tables. I assume they mean a lectern. A lot of people mistake podium and lectern, but let's not even get into that confusion. Agents from elsewhere in the courthouse ran into the courtroom to help 4 U.S. Marshals and FBI staff corral him, who has a hearing disability. He was found guilty of several charges in the January 6th case earlier this year, including assaulting police. Prosecutors asked the judge to jail him immediately ahead of sentencing because of these threatening Instagram posts that he made. Friedman ruled that the posts were extremely troubling and dangerous. Echoing recent arguments over gag orders in Trump's cases, the judge said it's rarely people in public life themselves who pose a threat to judges and agents, but their followers, and said those posts are not protected by the First Amendment. Eventually, GossJankowski was removed from court, taken to jail, and his sentencing date has not yet been set. So, as is always the case, it's not just about what this guy does. It's very easy to say, oh, they generally claim to be about law and order. They generally claim to be about respect for the police. But a judge, as part of the judicial legal process, says, we're going to jail you because of the threats you've been putting out on social media. And all of a sudden doesn't respect the decision of the court, fights with police officers, doesn't really seem to respect and defend law and order and police. Fine, that's this guy. But what I encourage you to do is to look online at the comments about, there's dozens of articles about this. Look at the comments and you will very quickly see that as soon as it's politically inconvenient, it's the right-wing community at large, not all of it, but much of it, that starts to ignore their own stated values of law and order and due process, etc. Rather than saying, hey, this is someone who's been credibly accused and convicted of crimes. They're awaiting sentencing. They're making threats. It is not a violation of the First Amendment for the judge to say, hey, you can't do that. No, instead of hearing that, what you will find online and comments everywhere is, this is a weaponized prosecution. This is not a case that should have even been brought. This is not a guy who really even committed any crimes. This is all part of the Biden DOJ going after and targeting. This is election interference. This is a way of trying to mess up Trump's candidacy or whatever the case may be. Oh, well, what about we defend and support the police? Remember, back the blue, the thin blue line, that entire thing. Well, you look at the comments and you see comments like, these officers, including the FBI and officers of the court and the police that arrested these guys in the first place, they are all the bad police officers. Oh, I see. Back the blue, thin blue line, support the police, fund the police, except when you arbitrarily decide that these particular officers are operating in what you believe to be a political context. And then all of a sudden, all of that goes out the window. It's another reminder that when these folks insist on engaging only on principles, super common thing, we want to figure out, okay, what should the law be around abortion? Or what should we do about climate change? Or when are vaccine mandates reasonable for public school kids? Well, they never want to deal with the practicalities. They want to deal with the principles and the values in a sort of amorphous and generic way. And to some degree, it's important to identify our principles and values. The problem is when the people you're talking to only care about principles and values when it's convenient to them, you're now dealing with people operating in bad faith. And obviously, there's no real way around it. I mean, we can't say our principles and our values don't matter, but what we can say is it's not worth wasting our time talking about your principles and values if they are only what you adhere to when it's politically convenient. The entire January 6th Trump riots fiasco has reminded us they don't actually care about their principles and values when it's not convenient for them. Another great example of this, for decades, we on the left have been talking about jail conditions and the problem with pretrial detention. Not only are the conditions in a lot of these jails terrible, but being held without bond pending trial prevents you from being able to mount the best possible defense. We've been talking about that on the left for so long. Now, all of a sudden, after decades of not caring about it, when Marjorie Taylor Greene goes and doesn't like the room that some of these Trump rioters are being held in, or a vegan rioter isn't getting vegan food, all of a sudden, right-wingers are up in arms about pretrial detention and jail conditions. Yeah, I wish you would have gone along and said that's a concern before it was 1,000 of your political acolytes who were all of a sudden in trouble and in those conditions. So these are not people operating in good faith. What we do is to just continue on, right? We at least are going to make an effort to apply our values and principles consistently, even if they are not. So much of the news media that we consume is corporately owned, with all kinds of financial and political interests that influence the reporting. And our sponsor, Ground News, takes every source for every news story, breaks down who owns the media outlet, shows you how the story is being spun across the political spectrum. For example, I'm looking at this story about Republicans in Congress trying to pass a law to keep Palestinian refugees out of the U.S. Ground News shows us here the great article that The Hill wrote about it. But besides that, only right-wingers are reporting about it. Fox News, Breitbart, Washington Times, probably because it's something their readers will love and will eat up. Ground News lets you see how Breitbart's headline for the story is twisted to bash Joe Biden. This is an extraordinary tool for comparing coverage, for helping you spot sensational content, identify the facts, especially with, for example, this escalation of the Hamas-Israel war that is taking place. Extraordinarily contentious issue. Language and perspective really matter here. When you go to ground.news/Pacman, you'll get 30% off their Vantage plan, which gives you unlimited access for around $5 a month. They also have a plan that costs under $1 a month. The link is down below.